Our third speaker of the day, Mark Levis, a successful small businessman. Mark is a talented writer as well, a published cartoonist, and is currently working on a new marketing book that promises to be as outrageously funny as it is cutting edge informative. Here, Mark.
But if you look at this ad, who do you think this ad is really focusing toward? Would you say that that's somebody on the left side of the spectrum, or would it be focused toward people on the right side of our educational spectrum? 5%. Right, probably the people on the 5%. Somebody that's really ready to make a buy. That's really probably very representative of a lot of marketing pieces that you see out there. That's the type of ads that most fills their phone books and fills newspapers and magazines. It's that kind of thing. So that would appeal to a portion of folks on the right. There it is. That's where they're targeting. So if you want to be marketing to the left, and I'm not talking about the political left, because I'm not really sure there. I guess if you were going to do that, you would probably have to have some kind of product where you could purchase it, but somebody else would pay for it if you were doing that. This is the left side of the marketing spectrum. No signal there. So of course, as we already mentioned, you have to have an offer to educate the consumer. You're going to be giving them something of value that doesn't necessarily facilitate a sale right now. We want to make it low risk. If you go back to our car buying example, if you're in the very left side of that educational spectrum, you're just starting to do research and think about cars, probably the last thing you want to do is visit a car lot where you're going to get attacked by a car salesman that wants to know, what can we do to make the sale today? What's it going to take for you to buy this car right now? You don't want to go through that hassle. You're just gathering information. So that would be considered a higher risk situation. You want to make sure that the offer is low risk. It must be idiot-proof. The how-to. A lot of times you see where folks have got offers or get information, but the process to get it is so complicated that the butter knives in the room couldn't follow that. So you got to make it where it's very easy, very intuitive, so that they can go right through and get the information that they need. And you have to have a plan. When you're working on left side marketing, it's got to be incorporated in a plan, because of course these are folks that aren't going to buy today, or maybe not even tomorrow. It could be down the road. So it has to be incorporated within an overall strategy or plan, because there's typically going to be multiple contacts in dealing with any of these folks. So it has to be incorporated in a plan. It's not something you're just going to send out a card. I'm providing some information here, and great, never talk to you again. So that's kind of the keys there to marketing to folks on the left side of the educational spectrum. So we give you an example of a left-leaning ad. Now this is a same type of product, but a little bit different. And we'll actually compare the two of these side by side. But it's written differently, it's done differently, laid out differently. So hey, if we were going to compare these kids, here's what they look like. There's the one on the left and the right. So the first thing you can see, of course, if you look at the headlines, the one toward the left, it's got what we call a hot button type headline. I would envision if you were building outhouses that maybe odor would be a big concern for people right in their backyard. So this ad is addressing that. The other ad is more of a branding type message that, hey, here's our company name, here's our company phone number. Doesn't do a lot in terms of grabbing and pulling in a potential buyer. Of course, sub-headlines, again, if you're looking to market toward the left, we're doing something that's drawing them in, again, the offer of additional information or something that could facilitate their decision-making process, as opposed to, again, a similar offer, but hey, the free magazine rack, that's for somebody that, I'm going to build this next week. We get a free magazine rack with our outhouse, that's great, let's buy it. So both have an offer, but they're focused differently. And of course, the body copy, again, attempting to educate and provide an avenue for them to take advantage of what you're offering in a very low-risk environment. So they can call a 24-hour hotline where it's just a recorded message, or this works very effectively, of course, online, where you're responding to something that you don't have to give a lot of information, again, low risk, as opposed to, here's a big list of stuff that we do, or here's what we're about. The ad on the left, of course, might be effective to anyone, anywhere in the spectrum. If you're ready to buy and you saw that type of that ad, you might want to say, hey, I'd love to get that report. I'm ready to buy an outhouse. But the ad on the right may not be quite as attractive because you really don't care about the free magazine rack right now, because you might not be buying the outhouse for 6 months. So you can see where the ad on the left side is probably more effective all the way across the spectrum, where the ad on the right is really focusing, like most marketing does, on people that are ready to pop out of that pipeline and make the move. So what's all the Spectrum offer, right, left stuff have to do with tracking darn leads? Could be confusing. So we're gonna kind of try to tie that together. If you were thinking that, great question. I know the butter knives in the room, you probably would have thought of that in a few minutes, so we're gonna give you credit for it also. So here's kind of the big tie-in of how all this kind of works together. Offers directed at the left side of the educational spectrum allow you to gather prospect information often missed by stuff that's targeted to the right side of the educational spectrum. So you're not picking up a lot of those buyers that are just in that initial information gathering stage. They're completely overlooking most of the people in the room, where in our case, we want to get those people into our pipeline so we can continue to educate them, continue to market to them, because at some point they are going to move down the pipeline here, they're going to come out and they're going to know us very well at that point. The offer really is the tool that fills your prospect pipeline. That's why offers are so critical, especially when you're offering free information, potentially you're a consultant, maybe it's a free hour of free consulting time, a report, whatever it might be. That is the tool that's ultimately going to get those people into your pipeline, and you're going to be easing them down the road. So you really need to use these tools because we want to make sure every dollar that we're spending in marketing, especially if we're a small business, we're a startup, something like that, marketing dollars are critical. The economy goes down, you hear a lot of people, I'm cutting back on marketing. Well, boy, now's the time you really want to be marketing, but you want to make sure that marketing is very effective and that it's doing its job and you're not wasting dollars. And of course, your opinion doesn't count. My opinion doesn't count, marketing person hired opinion doesn't count. The only person that really counts are the dollars that your customer's spending ultimately with you on your product or service. And that's really, I've been a victim of this where I'll come up with a marketing piece, great headline, super body copy, and put it together, I pat myself on the back that this is awesome, and it goes out and it doesn't do anything. And I would be a fool if I didn't say, well, but it's great, I'm just going to keep sending it. It's not getting your results, but I really like it. And I've done that. I've put together marketing pieces that I would have thought would have been just brilliant, and again, they don't do anything because the real person that the opinion counted was the people that got them, and they didn't respond, so guess where that goes. So here's kind of an example, a graphic example of a failure to test in a cartoon. How many people have been in this situation and done that? Probably know people that have done that. They'll go down, get this giant printing, go down to the post office, they're all excited and optimistic, and then they sit by the phone and nothing happens, or one person calls. Why? Because the guy didn't bother to test. Bob failed to test in that situation and really didn't help anybody, and I see this happen almost daily. So what are the type of things you want to test when we're talking about testing in a marketing piece? This is, again, could be print, could be online, could be in a magazine, could be a phone book, could be a flyer. Doesn't matter what you're doing in terms of marketing yourself. You might want to test your headlines.